I want to share some of my experience with neck pain and migraines. A friend reached out to me when I mentioned the connection that I found with my neck and migraine pain, and I just want to share this just in case it can help somebody else get to the root of their problems. So I was in a car accident over 20 years ago, driving all by myself on the road, and somebody rammed into the back of my car. At the time, we thought, I was okay and just little aches and pains. But 2 years later, it really began to show itself. Very suddenly, the pain came on and it was almost unbearable. It got to the point I couldn't carry a handbag. It just felt like it was throwing me out of alignment. I could just barely take my cell phone in my hand when I was going into the school to pick up the kids. I couldn't carry anything else. Holding a bottle of water to pour, that was like unbelievable. It was so uncomfortable. At that time, it was so bad that I would sometimes lay on the floor to sleep, because if my husband sat on the bed or moved while he was sleeping in the night, everything just, made the pain so much worse. And it was mostly up in my neck and just between the shoulder blades in the back. And it could be so piercing. It would sometimes even cause me to have stomach upset. And there's connections there, justified connections there. Anyway, that was 20 odd years ago. And I was also diagnosed with arthritis about 30 odd years ago. But I opted not to go on medication because I figured, let me save that for when I get older so that I'll still have options. Let me just try to adjust my life, try working with massage and exercise and different things to deal with the pain. So most recently, just before I went vegan, the pain had become really chronic. I was having these episodes where the pain would come on almost every 4 days. It used to be like every 2 weeks. It went to like once a week, and then it just felt like I was always in pain. So that's when I changed my diet, and that made a huge difference. I now would have mild episodes, or I would feel a sensation like the pain is coming on, perhaps once a month, every few weeks, that kind of thing. And what I started to realize is that when I cleared out so many things from my diet, like dairy and meat and eggs, I started to realize that sometimes the pain seemed to coincide with the things that I was eating. And those things that seemed to be affecting me adversely seemed to be the white pasta, breads, pastries. I started to see that link between gluten, and I really began to wonder if that had something to do with it. So I was really overdoing the bread recently, and I decided, okay, let me stop, let me pause and try to figure out if this really is impacting me. So it seems so. And not to say that I can't have gluten any at all, but it was piling on different things all in the same day. They say that when you eat something, if that might affect you, it lasts in your system for about 7 hours. Now, if you are going to have that thing for breakfast, it would pass out of your system. But if you're then going to have something that upsets you again for lunch, and you don't have that 7 hours for it to, you know, diminish, then here it comes again at dinner. So basically, if that thing is going to cause you pain and inflammation, you're never going to be without pain and inflammation. So I scaled back, and I had a couple slices of pizza, and I did have a donut, but I wasn't having, like, you know, 3 times a day where I was having. You can have the gluten in your cereal, you can have it in your breads and your pastas and your pastries. So it was just a matter of streamlining things and being more conscious of what I was eating. So when things were really bad, I started to have these migraines, right? And, you know, light sensitivity, real bad nausea, I mean, excruciating. But what I found was that I really had neck pain that was radiating and causing me to have a headache. So I was always having to, you know, massage out these knots and stuff in my shoulders. So automatically I started to see if, you know, there was any tenderness and pain in these areas, and it was unbelievable. I can only describe it as inflamed. It was just so tender, so sore. These knots were always big lumps right here in the back of my shoulders. And as I move up my neck, on either side of my neck, all of this would be so tender. I'd get right up under the base of my head here, right where the spine attaches, and it would be unbelievably tender. Come right around under the earlobe, right in here, massage that area. And when I would hit the spot, certain spots, it's like I could feel an electric shock. It went straight to my headache, and it also was taking away some of the pain. So what I recognized was that this was a neck pain that was giving me migraine type headaches. And so rather than be treating the migraine, I was treating the neck pain and the cause of the neck pain. And that might make a big difference for some people, because if you're just focusing on the fact that you have migraines and what medication might work for you, but if it's coming from these areas, you know, and the migraine headache is just a symptom of the problem, let's try and see what's causing the issue. So for me, if I would travel, that was a given. Carrying a heavy bag, lugging around with pulling luggage off of, you know, the conveyor belts and things like that, that would definitely have me in pain the next, usually it's 2 days it takes for it to really show itself. I'd wake up in problems. And so if you are just treating this headache, but you are constantly still lifting these heavy things that are making you have issues, then the migraines are not going to go away. So I was starting to focus on the things that I was lifting, whatever I was doing that was causing the neck pain, and I wouldn't wake up with a neck pain. I would wake up with a migraine. And so it's making that connection, and maybe there are more people out there who are having the same issue and can't figure out, you know, how to alleviate these migraines and why they keep having them. So having changed my diet and living practically pain-free for the last 16 months, I mean, I have pain, you know, it comes on, and little issues come up, and I deal with them because I have degenerative issues up here in the neck, in the lower back, and I have issues in my knees. So from time to time, you know, there are things that trigger these things, but it's not bad like it used to be, nowhere as bad as it used to be. And I feel so much better, and I just hope that maybe, you know, that connection might start somebody else thinking about a car accident or some kind of traumatic injury that could be triggering their problems, because nobody wants to live with migraines every day. And yes, diet has really helped me, And yes, even though I removed a lot of things and became vegan, at certain points I found that certain things still affected me. Now that I know what those things are, I can modify that. And if I decide to go a little bit overboard with gluten, and I know, okay, I'm gonna have a little bit of discomfort, then that's a choice I make. But also I find that flushing with a lot of water, eating clean at the other meals, and eating whole foods and avoiding more of that gluten, I can balance it. And so it's all about learning your body, learning what things affect you adversely, and how to deal with them and how to make choices. You know, it's horrible if you're going along and you're really trying to do better, but nothing is working. So, as I said, you know, you take these things in, and if you have, and it's not an allergy, it's an intolerance, you know, because allergies can be very serious. So it's an intolerance probably, and it's a combination of things. I mean, you know, I'm in my mid 50s, bordering closer towards 60 now, and I'm learning so much about my body, and this will help me to move forward and to deal with the issues that I have to face. So hope this helps you. I hope I touched on everything, and let me know, because nobody loves the pain, and I know what that life was all about. No bueno.